Joining me now is Colonel Rob Maness. Let's check back with him as to what he thinks about the current state of things in Israel and Iran. Colonel, welcome back to the broadcast. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Brannon. Thanks for having me.
It is amazing. It's amazing what Israel is doing on their own. And frankly, I would like to see them finish it on their own, all on their own. I don't want to see us involved. I don't mind if we sell them weaponry, as I've been saying consistently. I don't mind if we give them intelligence. I don't mind if we even have to knock down a few incoming ballistic missiles every now and then. But I would prefer to see them do this on their own, that we don't get any of our bombers involved at all for the reasons I've stated on previous programs. But mainly, I want to see them do this on their own because I think this is setting, and I'll deal with it later in the broadcast, I think it's setting the stage for Bible prophecy to be fulfilled. For Israel to be seen as a massive superpower for the whole world to see and recognize, wow, they did this on their own with Iran. Who would have thought that, right? Which makes me believe, and I'll ask Dr. Woods later tonight, makes me believe it's setting up Bible prophecy to be fulfilled, which is that eventually Ezekiel 38:39, that's Old Testament, as we know. A lot of Jews are studying that it will cause a coalition of nations to have to be formed to come against Israel. So I'd like to see them finish it up on their own because I'd just like to see them do that. I think that would be great for Israel. I think it'd be great to peace through strength. But I think it'd be great for America if we stay out of it for the reasons I've articulated in my recent article. And I think it will help set the stage for Bible prophecy. Do you think Israel's going to be able to do this on their own, finish it on their own?
Militarily, yeah, I've said that before. I think there's no reason for the United States to use our offensive bombing capability to take out these targets. The Israeli government even announced this morning on social media, made the comment that they had the capability to attack the Fort Owl facility, which is the hardened and deeply buried facility down at a half mile. And as I've said many times this week, they do have the capability because they have penetrating weapons. They're just not as capable as the large weapon. The B-2 bomber and B-52 bombers are the only platforms that can currently carry that thing. So it's just going to take a little bit longer and a few more weapons, and they own the airspace. They own the airspace. And I don't think it's fair to say that they're doing this completely on their own because, as you know, we're providing intelligence, we're providing air defense, not just for them, but because we have, somewhere between 30 and 50,000 personnel in the area, military personnel, not counting the embassy personnel in all the countries there. So it's the president's responsibility as a commander-in-chief to defend those sites. And in the process of doing that, we're providing missile defense for the Israelis too, of which, okay, I get that. But it's just not necessary for us to enter the fray at this point because the Israelis are doing such a really good job, Brannon. I was just talking to a group of Republicans today, and I told them what I thought. I said, this is the most effective air campaign that's been run since the United States ran the Desert Storm air campaign against Saddam Hussein, which resulted in basically a 3-day war. And the Israelis are doing this at a factor of 10 with today's technology, even better than we did in Desert Storm, from my perspective. So they've got it. We're providing them good intel information, apparently, and they're using it to great effect. Their daily intelligence preparation of the battlefield is uncomparable to anything that we've seen in the last 100 years, quite frankly. And somebody asked about doing intelligence preparation of the battlefield like they're doing on the cartels the other day. Asked me, and I said, well, why don't we just contract the Israeli Defense Forces out when they're finished to do it for us? Because they're exhibiting traits that are remarkably better than ours. I mean, look at the disasters in the last wars the United States has had to lead.
Indeed. I don't know if this is going to be in English or Hebrew. He does both, as everybody knows. Let's see what Benjamin Netanyahu is saying here, folks. All right, so it's in Hebrew. He is saying, I can just basically tell you from the headline, he's saying that we, quote, we control the skies over Tehran. We are striking nuclear sites and missiles, and our people's spirit is strong. Together we will fight, and with God's help, together we will win, end quote. President Trump went into the Situation Room today with his advisors. I don't know what they're going to come up with. Well, I guess we'll be hearing about it. I don't know if you've been in the Situation Room, but you were in a specific room in the Pentagon, high-level room that a lot of people never enter into. So based on your work as someone that's one of the, 3 people to write the black book that goes with the nuclear football that's carried with the president, if you had to surmise what went on in the Situation Room today, who would have been there and what kind of scenarios would they be laying out for the president?
Well, the president, the vice president, the secretary of defense, the joint chiefs, all of them should be there. And then the combatant commander, U.S. Central Command, should have at least been there by video teleconference, which we're capable of doing. And hopefully they were briefed, unpoliticized intelligence, the status of our forces, any attacks or attempted attacks, and what adversaries they came from in our forces. Since this this new phase of this conflict started between Israel and Iran, what the status of our forces that we just recently deployed over. There's been a large number of air refueling tankers deployed to various places. The Nimitz is on the way from the Pacific. They just rolled in the Gerald R. Ford, which is the most advanced aircraft carrier that we have in its battle group. To proceed to that part of the world too. So that gives us 3 U.S. aircraft carriers and their battle groups, which include missile defense ships, guided missile cruisers, guided missile destroyers, and those kind of capabilities, which is very important to have to defend our forces and our people there, and obviously to provide defense support for the Israelis. So none of that surprises me, except for the 3rd carrier. That one surprises me, because we took the Nimitz out of the Pacific, out of the Indo-Pacific area of operation, which leaves us weak in the face of China. And China, as we've seen in recent weeks, has for the first time put 2 aircraft carrier battle groups east of Taiwan out into the Western Pacific, cruising as if they were the global hegemon in that area.
Let's see here. What else do we got? I know I got some other things here.
And I would just add that any options that have been developed at the direction of the Secretary of Defense, courses of action would be briefed. Potential courses of action would probably be briefed on what the status of them are and how effective they may or may not be. That's what.
Okay. We also hear that the Israel attacked the Safan headquarters, which is the regime's main arm for cracking down on protests. Mm-hmm. So it really seems like the people are rising and are at least going to be given the opportunity to. They're getting on social media. The internet's been shut down, but I guess they have Elon Musk and his system to do it with again. But we've been getting a lot of pictures of the folks, gals, taking off their hijabs, giving the freeway wave, if you will, middle finger to the pictures of Khomeini. We've seen videos of the people chanting about him, wanting him gone. So it seems like this is something that can come from the people. And now we have the prince, the Shah's son. He's, I guess, talking about the fact they have a plan. They've been working for some time. I see a lot of criticisms by neocons and others. The family's been out of there for 40 years and whatever. I know the CIA would probably like to pick who goes in there, but why not give the prince a chance to make it something? I mean, it'll be the people's choice of Iran. It shouldn't be the CIA's choice.
Well, the Iranian diaspora is essentially split into 2 factions. The MEK-run NCRI, which has developed a 10-point plan to democratize Iran if it ever gets the opportunity, and then the Shah's people. And remember, the CIA put the Shah in place in the first time, and really it's the blood on their hands that led to his fall, too, by incompetence and capability, trying to use capabilities that really, and get him to do things that he really shouldn't be doing, that drove the revolution to be successful, the actions that he was taking at their request. So a lot of people are concerned about the Shah, But I'm concerned about the disconnect between those two groups because there is a pretty wide disconnect that I'm personally aware of between those two groups, and I haven't seen any evidence of them working together. And they really need to work together if the Iranian people are going to rise up and do a regime change on their own. We should not be involved in any regime change.
Absolutely.
We cannot. The Israelis should not be involved in any on-the-ground operations for regime change. The best we can do is support these people and moral support, really, and public moral support to give them incentive to do it and rise up. Because people don't change countries into freedom places unless they are the ones doing it and dying for it. If they're not willing to die for their own effort, then there's nothing the United States or Israel or any other nation can do to make that turn out right. So it's all on them. This disconnect between the Shah's people and the NCRI, though, is very concerning. I try to talk about it. I don't have any high-level connections with either group, but I've been monitoring and in contact with a low-level group of individuals on the NCRI side for some years now and watching what they're doing and listening. And so have other leaders, high-level leaders, Rudy Giuliani, Mike Pompeo. They've all been to talk to that group. And I think the president of that group put out an op-ed earlier today about their planning and everything. So the planning is there. The MEK under that group, the NCRI group, has people on the ground that have been operating inside Iran for some years. The Shah's team is kind of like a black hole because he just kind of rose up out of the blue again when all this started. And that makes a lot of people suspicious that the CIA is behind him, when really what needs to happen is those two groups come together, figure out how to combine their leadership roles and help the people that are inside Iran, and then eventually move in and help them establish a government.
Well, I knew you'd have a good answer. Look at that. The two groups come together. Did you know that, I agree with you, we don't want to see this being something where our government or Israel says, here's your person. Did you know that Shah had a daughter that just got married? Or actually the granddaughter. The prince's daughter, the Shah's granddaughter, just got married. Did you know that?
Have no idea. No, I mean, like I said, he and his team are kind of like a black hole. They really haven't been around. There's no planning to go in, no forces on the ground whatsoever, no support on the ground. But the MEK and the NCRI do have that infrastructure. That's why they need to work together. He may be the face of it, of a big part of it, and bring that kind of momentum and muscle in from other governments. But he can't be the guy that goes in and just leads this thing all together, because those people aren't loyal to him. And the other side has bad feelings about the Shah's.
Right. The reason I brought this up, Annie sent this to us the other day, and his daughter is married a Jewish businessman. So I just found that very interesting, that obviously he's not some Islamic militant, Some have said...
Well, there are Persian Jews that are native to Persia.
Exactly.
So...
Yeah. All right. So in conclusion, Colonel, what do you think this big surprise is? The ambassador from Israel to Washington, D.C. has said that what's coming Thursday or Friday will make the pager attacks look simple. What do you think's coming?
When anything in a war is said publicly like that, you got to take it with a grain of salt, quite honestly, except for one person. And that guy's name is President Donald J. Trump, the commander-in-chief here. He is negotiating right now. He is using diplomacy in his style and his way to move things. And he has basically set the table to the Iranian mullahs, saying, you will unconditional surrender or hell is going to be unleashed on you to finish this job. And I'm not stepping in the way of the Israelis. And that's why you see it's being reported that 2 government airplanes, including the president of Iran's, was seen departing today, being allowed to fly over to Qatar. That's why you see that. But the president's not going to step in and say, oh, Bibi, you can't finish this job. No, that job's going to get finished. They have to give up, and they better do it now, or they are going to die.
Absolutely. Let Israel do it. Let Israel do it.
Let them finish.
Yep. RobManess.com. RobManess.com. He's also here every day with his own broadcast for an hour at 2 p.m. Central, 3 Eastern, Monday through Friday. Colonel Rob Maness. Thanks for being with us, Colonel. We'll be right back after this break.
Thanks, Brennan.
True beauty isn't applied. It's nourished from within. Bella Grace Elixir, a luxurious, scientifically crafted blend designed to restore radiance, vitality, and strength at a cellular level. At the heart of Bella Grace Elixir lies cat's claw, a powerful herb from the Amazon known for its ability to control inflammation and protect collagen. With Verisol collagen peptides, it goes beyond the surface, stimulating your body's natural collagen production to reduce fine lines, improve skin elasticity, and promote real, visible change. Bella Grace Elixir doesn't stop at collagen. It includes astaxanthin, one of nature's most powerful antioxidants. 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C, astaxanthin protects your skin from harmful UV rays and environmental stress, while locking in hydration and promoting a radiant, youthful glow. Experience the power of nature with Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Discover the science behind Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Read powerful testimonials from doctors and real customers who've experienced life-changing results, and explore other wellness products from Bella Grace. Bella Grace Elixir is more than just a product. It's a solution. Visit melissahousebg.com today.
Looking for a trusted source to understand today's world through a Christian worldview? Worldview Tube is built on the 35 years of worldview books, columns, research, and high-profile interviews of Brannon Howse. Want to know more about Worldview Tube, its founder, history, team, and mission? Visit worldviewtube.com/about. That's worldviewtube.com/about. Worldview Tube is your source for understanding the times through the lens of a Christian worldview.